Hi everyone, it's Lulu. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to everyone who's watching me for the first time. I recently, a few days ago, I had posted a brush swatch mini review of the soon-to-be launched, I believe it's launched online, but I think in store July 14th, the Sephora Pro Pigment palette. For Sephora, this is a high-end, it's $68, and you know, so for Sephora, that's pretty high-end. I don't know if they have anything, not even one of their best brushes, that is that high. And rumor has it they are trying maybe to compete with the highly pigmented Natasha Denona, Art, those that are coming up. I don't actually know how long it takes to create a pigment when you're, not a pigment, a palette when you're as large as Sephora. If it's like boom, boom, boom because of the quantity and the relationships you have with your suppliers. You know, you have a whole staff of designers and editors and graphic, etc., etc. But don't know for sure that they would have known what the Natasha Denona Sunset palette would look at like, but you can see even all the indie and smaller brands, these summer warm reds, browns, oranges are all very popular. And certainly, if you haven't seen it yet, certainly that is the case here. Again, I don't think they're coming off nearly as vibrant as in real life, and hopefully either online or maybe someone else's video you'll get a better perspective of them. But it's an extremely warm palette, and I will say that if you're tired of warm palettes, the cool palette, in my opinion, isn't all that cool. When you look at it in person, and again, I don't know that it's coming across accurately. I don't know how many people are buying the cool palette to actually show you on YouTube, but in person, it really isn't that cool. I would almost call it a neutral palette. And again, that's in my previous video. I looked at it again. I'm wearing it today. And I will get right to the chase and kind of say what everybody else is saying. The warm is very similar to the cool in that it is as dusty as can be with Kick Up. You'll see in this brush swatch, I use different brushes. Someone mentioned in my other video I was using too stiff or too dense a brush. So this time I mixed it up. I used Wayne Goss 4, I used a NARS, I've used a Sigma, I think, Morphe, and the good old dollar e.l.f. tried and true, lasts through thick and thin, the good old e.l.f. brush, the original with the white handle. Packaging on these is beautiful and substantial. It's very, very substantial. It's hard to describe how heavyweight and firm and safe and just quality this feels. I imagine a lot of the price, when they were looking at the price, they spent more in packaging than typical, is what I would say. In the warm palette, this is done in a gold, kind of a burnished gold, and the cool palette is in a silver, so it's easy if they're on your counter to tell the difference. And the packaging very similar, except it's again in the gold. The cool package is in silver. Very nice. I don't know if I mentioned this in the first one, but it comes with an interesting way of doing, you know, rather than showing you the eye looks, they actually show you in the pan what colors they use. What colors they would use to create, as well as the written directions. I thought that was kind of interesting, different. And so I am going to go ahead and do the swatches for you. You will see, and I will talk about, you know, the dust, the Kick Up. I'll talk about using different brushes. They are beautifully pigmented, so it just takes a light hand. Even with a light hand of dipping a soft brush, you're going to get Kick Up. Dusty, but they blend. You'll see I'll put a swatch on and I'll just keep blending and blending and blending, so a little pigment goes a long way. It's, you know, I'm going to say that with all these warm palettes, I personally would take a second look at the cool palette if I were you. I am not going to be buying the bright, colorful palette. It's just not my thing. This one in warm is mostly matte. The other one has more shimmers and foils in it. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe it's more than I thought. But I feel like this one has less than the other one. Maybe I'm wrong. But the mattes are gorgeous. You know, they're all gorgeous. Just I have to tell you, I'm really beside myself about keeping these or returning these. They are such a mess. And, you know, the dust kicks up into the colors next to them, and you're always blowing it off, and your sink, it's just, oh. So, it's probably, you know, it's worse than Modern Renaissance. It's worse than Lorac Pro palettes. It's the very worst kick up I've ever experienced, and I must have 100 palettes for sure. And I don't even know how many singles, although I try to keep my singles to a minimum. But you know, you might as well use a real pigment. I don't know, little pot of pigment. But of course, having this many pots would be a pain in opening them. Anyway, so let's get on to the swatches. I just don't know if I can recommend this. You know, it's $68, which is steep. Sure is a heck of a lot better than Natasha Denona, which is also very, very dusty. It kicks up a lot. I have not gotten the Jaclyn Hill yet. Doesn't seem to be a complaint of anyone, but I'm not finding a lot of people with really negative reviews. But, you know, in looking at the swatches, I don't think it's dusty or lots of kick up on those. So I can't compare it to that one. Vizard is almost no kick up. It's beautiful. And so that's kind of where I stand on this. I just don't know whether or not to recommend. It depends on your budget. It depends on if these colors speak to you, but there are so many palettes that have this. So enjoy my swatches. If you have any questions, let me know. I will link the Cool Palette video below, and on the Cool Palette, I will link this video to it. And again, a new camera, so I hope I'm doing okay with lighting. I'm trying very hard not to look at the viewfinder, which I've never had before. And that's about it. So enjoy the swatches. Hope I did a good job with them. And that's about it. Take care. Thanks. I'm going to use, as I mentioned, a few different kinds of brushes. I've got Sigma, I've got NARS, I've got Morphe, I've got Wayne Goss. I've got the regular shadow brush by e.l.f. Who else do I think I have? NARS. So we'll see if that makes a difference. I'm going to I've not swatched these at all, so I'll do this randomly with different brushes. Someone mentioned on the Cool Tone that I was using too rough or too dense, too stiff a brush, so here we go. First color is Canvas, top row. Just as powdery, I would say, and this is the Wayne Goss brush. So this is Canvas. Again, on my skin, it's not really, I mean, I can see it absolutely. Blends beautifully. So this is a Wayne Goss, and I'm still kicking up quite a bit of powder. Oops. Okay, next is Oat. Not as much powder as the first one. This one, boy, you can really barely see. I'm dipping a second time. See if a rougher brush, let's go right to the e.l.f., the regular eyeshadow brush, and see if we get anything more. Where was it? That's right next to it. So yeah, I'm getting a little bit more. Alright, then just because, I'll go with the Royal Langnickel, I can't read it, BX50, 80, I'm sorry. And this color is Biscotti. Beautiful crease color, blends beautifully, as you can probably see. Lots of pigmentation. Next color is Camel. Kind of that baby poop, stomach ache. Beautiful blending, beautiful pigmentation. I'm still using the Royal and Langnickel, and this color is Ochre. And it definitely is an ochre. Beautiful pigmentation. I keep repeating myself, but you can see it blends and blends and blends. Barely need to touch the brush. Next color is Saddle. And I'm still with my Royal and Langnickel. Gorgeous. And then the last one on the top row of the Warm palette is Auburn. Reddish brown. Brownish red. Lots of dust on that one. Woo! I don't know, where's the camera point? Oh, you probably can't see it. Very heavily pigmented. Okay. That entire top row was matte. Second row, first one is Sand. Now I'm using an a Morphe, hold on, did I just say what it was? M506. And still kicking up dust. This is sand. Looks to me like it has a sheen. In the pan it does not. Comes off more yellow on the hand. In the pan it looks definitely like a peachy sand. Peach sand beach. There you go. I'll dip again. So this one isn't the greatest. Next one is brass, and it's a greenish gold. It doesn't look brass-ish to me. And this is definitely a shimmer. Comes off very nice, not patchy at all. Next color is clay, which is very much like a clay pot. That reddish, brownish, very, very much so. Very warm. It's the warm palette, that makes sense, huh? Okay, next one is really a gold, and that is called copper, but it looks like gold to me. Oh, but it looks more coppery on the hand, absolutely. Alright, just because, we'll switch it up to back to my Wayne Goss 04. And the next color is bronze. It's not looking bronze to me. Not as much kick up with the Wayne Goss. Also don't pick up quite as much, but it's still good. Go back and forth a few times. Very nice. Let me do it again. Yeah, not patchy at all. That's nice. And then the next color, second row, is Adobe, which is a lighter than the clay. Again, this is a Wayne Goss. Not picking up quite as much, blending beautifully, very soft. Not as much kick up with the Wayne Goss. And the last one is Sandstone. This one has a lot of kick up no matter what. An deeper orange, smoky orange. Very nice. Alright, next, third row. Now I'm using the Morphe E17. Sorry about that. Third row, hazelnut. It's kind of like a cream in your coffee. A little coffee with a little cream. Dusty. Very nice. Next color is khaki, and I would say that's a really accurate color name for this one. Not too much dust on this one, not bad. Oh, love this color. Khaki. You can see not patchy, blends beautifully. Next is peach, and it really is. It's a deeper peach. It's shimmery, not kicking up dust hardly at all. And I can hardly get any on, let's see, let's try a different brush. This is the Sigma EB21. Let me just make sure. Hold on, please. EB21. Let's try that peach again. Not too much dust. Not too much pigment. One more dip with the Sigma. Really digging in a little bit more. I'm getting more. You can see it now. It's coming up probably more on camera than it is in person. It took a little bit to get there. Staying with the Sigma, the next color is Brick. Again, a shimmery, beautiful. I think a lot of people. This one is kicking up dust. And looked a little patchy to begin with, but really it's blending out nicely. And this is again the Sigma brush. Next color is Terracotta. Very little different, maybe a little more orange than the clay color. Ooh, beautiful. So just picking up a little. I'm going to try that next. Color is Burnt Umber. I love these warm tone names. So I'm going to go very gently. Still a lot of dust, but you can see not patchy at all. So you just have to tap off the brush. Just, if you can remember to do that. And the last one in the third row is Chestnut. And I'm still with the Sigma. That's not patchy. It's my skin, my arm going up and down, my crevices. So there we go. That's the third row. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Last row, here we go. The first one is called Brown Sugar. I'm using my Wayne Goss 04. Not a lot of kick up at all. And wow, it's a pretty deep color. So let's see. So this is a very soft brush. Let's move on using that same color, the NARS number 12 brush. Oh, I'm not getting anything this time. Let's try it again. NARS number 12 brush. Okay, now let's move to the good old e.l.f. dollar eyeshadow, the white line, white one. Let's see what we get with it. Well, this brown sugar is just a poor example. Sorry, we are going to move on. Okay, next color is caramel, however you would like to say it. And this is the Wayne Goss again. Let's see, where should we go? Here we go. Beautiful. Not too bad on the kick up, as you can see, blends beautifully, lots of pigment. I'm going and going and going. Next color is sepia, which I tend to think of as a grayish brown, but it's not. This is a very, very warm brown using Wayne Goss, less kick up, beautiful pigmentation. So if you have these very, very soft, beautiful brushes, you will do, you know, less kick up. Still kick up, but less. I'm back to the Morphe M506, and this next color is coconut shell. I think coconut shells tend to be a little warmer than this. So this one is picking up okay with the Morphe, not great. I'll dip again. Next color is cocoa. It's a very reddish cocoa, what I would call. Again, you can blend and blend and blend and blend and blend. It goes a long way. Cocoa. Next is cedar. It's funny, I would have put them the other way around. I would have made this cocoa and the other one cedar. But this is more of a brownish, you know, it's a brown with maybe gray or charcoal undertones. And then the last one is obsidian, which is, I guess, lots of kick up on this. Woo! Black. And it's doing pretty well for a black. And again, my skin is more the issue in terms of patchiness, but I would say very nice. Very nice indeed. So there you have it. That's the warm palette. I'm going to bring the palette closer to the camera, and I will do it again. But in terms of kick up, and I'll be back with my final comments.